All right, hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I've got a new toy. These are a pack of the Copic Acreas. I don't know how to say that, but I am going to test them out and then make a little art with them today. I have my handy dandy Cansen mixed media sketchbook, a little bitty one. And, you know, mixed media should be helpful. These are paint markers. They're supposed to be water-based. There's 6 colors in here, and I actually bought them a hot second ago, and I've been not using them, even though I've been thinking about them, because I really wanted you guys to get my first opinion on them for real. So I've had them for probably like, I don't know, 2-3 weeks already now, and I've been busy and needed to clean off stuff off my phone before I could film. And so yeah, let me in. Okay. I don't want to massacre the box too much because it's actually kind of cute. Eee, oh, they're so pretty. What the? Oh my goodness. They're so cool. It's been so long since I've used paint markers. The first color, we're gonna test them in rainbow order, of course. Now this is kind of annoying, but I might have scratched it, but that's okay. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, here goes the first one. Oh, okay. I'm used to Poscas where you have to like for such a long time. Ooh, look it. Oh, that's so exciting. Ooh, the first color is coral pink. I'm gonna open all of these first and then we'll get to swatching them. So you don't need to be here for that. Wow, okay, that took a lot longer than it should have. Oops. Just, what a pain. I get it though. Phoebe hair all over. Okay, 1, 2, there we are. Okay, so this is custard beige. Ooh, I quite like it. I was actually kind of nervous. I do mostly characters and stuff, and I was like kind of nervous about this video that I wouldn't have kind of a skin tone. And so it's nice to know that I do. Ooh, this is, ooh, cream yellow, very creamy. I was just thinking it looks kind of like butter. I like them. This is exciting. Ooh, this is so gorgeous. Apple green. Ooh. I feel like a kid in a candy store. Like, I'm not actually that good with, ooh, I like that. Turquoise blue. I'm not usually that good actually with paint markers, but like, I don't know, something about, well, first off, I am a Copic fan, so like something about, you know, it being Copic is kind of nice, and they're just kind of sleek looking. The colors are so beautiful. Definitely looking a lot orangier now that it's drying though, but you know what? We can have an orange person, who cares? This is lilac. That's lovely. Ooh, I'm very excited. Let's do some tests quick. See how we can, you know, how and if they blend a little bit. Chewing up the paper a bit, but that's honestly to be expected though, as just paint markers on paper. Like, I could switch to, I do have canvas paper, which is pretty much just that. It's just like a sheet of canvas. So I could switch to that. I think I am gonna stay on the mixed media paper for the time being, at least. Okay, that doesn't look too bad. None of them are too dry yet. That'll be the thing, is I know a lot of people like layering. Oh, though, look at that. Ooh, that's gorgeous. Ooh, let me try the yellow over something. Wow, I'm not actually sure how well you can see that. Those layer quite well. I don't know, maybe I'm not used to having the light colors actually layer super great or what, but I love that. And when it's not a giant puddle, it really doesn't take, see, like, it really doesn't take that long to dry. It's just when you're doing something thicker like that, it's gonna take a hot second. But I'm loving these. I think maybe I wish the yellow was a bit more saturated, but I mean, the thing is I don't use yellow that much anyway. So like, this is probably closer to how I would use it. I don't know. Ooh, what do these remind me of? So obviously we've got little lilacs and stuff. Turquoise blues, very water-based thinking, you know. Coral's also very, you know, water feeling, water vibe. Apple green, obviously. Well, yeah, it looks a bit more like a peach, but there we go. Cream yellow. Doesn't really give you a whole lot. All I think about is butter. Custard beige, again, something kind of similar. Those are kind of our plainer colors. But I think I'm getting something kind of girly, maybe a mermaid or a fairy. It's kind of the vibes these are giving me. I do like that it is still like kind of a set of colors. So I think we will, I'm thinking probably a girl. That's my go-to. Maybe we have to do a little sketching and then come back to it. But for starters, I've got high hopes. All right, let's get this voiceover underway. So I originally started just kind of sketching a girl because I thought I'd maybe do a full body, but that was really starting to frustrate me. So I decided instead to just flip to the next page, and after spending just like a couple minutes on Pinterest, I was like, I don't have to do a full body if I don't want to. I can also do a bust shot or just a head, like a little portrait. Like, that is a-okay. I don't have to make myself do a full body. Now, here's the thing. I usually, like, when I'm going and getting back into art for when I am going and getting back into art after a hot second to break or whatever, I usually do quite a few portraits and stuff because I just find them soothing and relaxing, and it's a little bit like go back to what you know kind of thing. So that's kind of why I decided to do a little portrait shot instead of full body. Now, I do learn a little bit later on, actually working on with the paint markers and stuff, that maybe a full body would have been better just because the marker nips are kind of little, but whatever. I digress. For the comfort of the art itself, I wanted to go with a portrait. But as you can see, I am a little rusty, and that is a-okay. But yeah. But yes, so I thought I would maybe take this time to discuss a little bit about how I hope and am trying to plan for that my year will look like. So in my last video, I talked a little bit about some of my goals and whatnot for the year. I think, as always, one of my goals is to just post as frequently as possible. And this year specifically, one of my goals is going to be to make sure that I make more art. And at the very least, keep making art. I don't want to stop. I am having a baby in May, so I have no idea what this will all look like a little closer to May. One of my biggest fears is that I won't have time for some of my hobbies and passions and whatnot. And unfortunately, like, my YouTube is a part of my business, but like it is like a different part. There's like two sides of this business. There's like this part and the social media part. Well, honestly, YouTube in particular is a very kind of its own thing. And this is Phoebe, the reason hair is left everywhere. But the YouTube is almost more fun than it is. It's like a reason to make art more than it is necessarily like related to my actual business of sticker making. Now, I would love it if more of my business was related to like more directly to the art I create, like this. Because character art is definitely my favorite thing to make. Things like this cool bust or character design, that kind of things. But unless you're a big famous artist, people just don't really care about that type of art. So a lot of the stickers I sell in my shop are of objects, which are fun. Don't get me wrong, I do love making those as well, and I'm a big user of them. If you don't know, my sticker shop mostly makes sticker sheets, and I make them because honestly it started just, I'm a big bullet journaler and I wanted more stickers and different stickers of specific niche themes, and I could not find those anywhere, so I just started making them, and that's how my Etsy shop was born. But they're really fun. But like I said, this is the art that's my passion, so unfortunately, having a baby, this might be the type of art that does fall to the wayside, but that is not the goal, the hope. So if you are enjoying this video or this art so far, it would mean the world to me to like it, to like this video, subscribe, leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. And now I'll come back to this topic, but I want to chit chat about the markers a little bit. So you probably saw the disaster that was me trying to blend these stupid cheeks. So the cheeks are definitely probably the one of the, besides just the fact that you can tell I'm a little rough with it, with just the art in general, the cheeks are definitely the weakest point. I did not really know. I thought in my little tests they seemed like they'd blend a little easier, but they actually dry quite rapidly. So the cheeks were not blending, and if I had known that going into it, I would have like just done a bit more like cell shading with the cheeks or something, or I don't know, maybe make a puddle of this of the red on like a separate paper and like paint it on or something. But I don't know, you know, hindsight's 2020. This is the whole point of this video, is an experiment with these markers. It's testing them out for the first time. So like, of course there's going to be a learning curve, you know? Like I said, in the test, they do eat the paper a bit more, I think, than I anticipated, especially in this part of the cheek. It kind of got a little messed up there, but that's all right. Like I said, the cheeks is the worst part. So like, I wish I either would have just kind of like flat color, went in with just like a few lines or something, very stylized, or I wish I would have ignored doing blushy cheeks to begin with, but like, that's something I always do. So it was very hard not to. I resisted after the disaster of the cheeks. I resisted doing that for the nose because I was like, no. I've already fucked up one side. I'm not fucking up something else. So, but yes, so you don't know this, but this part here is ×2, but later in the video, I actually kick it up to ×4 speed because the nibs are so little, which is why it's like, man, I really wish I would have maybe done a full body. The nibs are really little, so like it takes me forever, and so this was definitely a lesson in patience as well, because I'm a relatively impatient artist, I would say. I rush a lot. Like, I feel like some of my work could be so much better if I would just take a second and breathe and come back. I don't know. I just get so, I get to reach a certain point and I'm like almost ready to finish. And I'm like, just keep going, just gotta get it done. And that's not ideal, but also another one of the things that these doing YouTube videos will hopefully help. And then I was trying to think, I completely wung this. We were winging it the whole time. And so none of the colors were planned beforehand. Like, you are seeing it happen in real time. Like, as I am drawing this and coloring it, that's the colors I'm deciding. So maybe in the future I would maybe plan it out a little bit. I don't know. But again, it's all part of this process of just trying to have fun with it, just trying to see what they could do a little bit. But I did enjoy this, and I do think I would use these again. This was particularly a challenge because I'm trying to use them by themselves. They would work so great, fantastically, in tandem with other supplies, either Copic markers, using the markers for the skin, so that way you can get a really nice smooth blend, and then using these for the hair or the accessories or something else to pop. Or they go over each other so well, they're very opaque, that they would go well in tandem with just even other acrylic paint, to add fun little details and finishing touches and whatnot. I definitely will be adding these to my painting repertoire. I loved them quite a bit. I think I got more irritated just because, again, I'm trying to cover such a large expanse of paper with such a teeny tiny little nib, and also being an impatient person, but that's irrelevant. But I was originally thinking I was going to go back over and cover every single little bit of white paper showing through, especially in the hair. There's quite a bit, but I decided I kind of liked that sketchy look almost. I think if I did this again with just the markers and even a bust, I would maybe still paint separately the skin, so I could get a good blend, and then maybe plan things out in a way where I'm using more cell shading than I am anything else, because these would it looks so good. I added that little bit of purple in there to separate the hair, and I was just it looked nice. I'm not sure a little bit I would recommend these. Oh, because by the way, these are not sponsored. Not sponsored by Copic at all whatsoever. But I'm not 100% sure where I stand on recommending them. The colors I love very much so. I know that acrylic markers and acrylic paint pens, that kind of thing, are getting and have been popular for a while. So I'm not exactly sure what color options there are, but these ones definitely, I was impressed with the colors and I was impressed with the opacity, but they're kind of expensive. I'm trying to remember, it might have been 30 some bucks for these at Michael's, and the only reason I got these is I got these in another pack because they had a sale going on, and so these were half off, so I was and they'd be fun for a video, so double duty there. And also it's a tax write-off kind of thing, art supplies. But it's definitely not, and I definitely don't think I'd recommend these for beginners. I think someday I'd like to try the acrylic pens markers that have brush tips. I wonder if those might be a little bit more beginner friendly. You'd think they maybe wouldn't be, because there is a learning curve with just a brush nib, especially with Copics and stuff as well. But I think though that being able to cover a wider expanse of paper at one time, and also not because brush tips are both fine and wide kind of at the same time, that definitely gives you a lot more versatility and a lot more room for blending. So definitely would be fun to see from Copic this formula of paint marker in a brush tip, because that would be a game changer, honestly. But yes, overall, they're not, I wouldn't say they're dry. They can get a little scratchy. If you're not careful, like the tip can dry out. Like, it is paint. That's the thing. They're not dry as in they have plenty of paint, but they can dry out. It's paint, So like sometimes the tips can clog a little bit, either with paper or with like dry paint, especially when you're going over the other paint, like the drier paint, or like pick up pieces of it, and then you have to maybe pump it a couple times or wipe it off. So I think in the future too, I'd maybe have a damp paper towel, because that might help. You just can rub off the tip quick and get right back to work. So, but yeah, so back to my plans and stuff. So my plans are post as often as possible. I am giving myself a little leeway. Like, my goal has always been to try to get a video out a week. Last year that did not happen. Last year was a very, very insane year. I'm from, well, it's not a super small town in Iowa, but like a relatively small town. And then we moved to Chicago last year for my husband's job. It was insane. It was fun, but also sucked. Like, all of our friends were here and all of our family was here, and it just ended up being like a little depressing when you're used to having all these people. So last year was like stay afloat mentally type year. I didn't make a lot of art. I didn't make like any videos. I posted a couple before we left for Chicago, and that was it. I have a couple vlogs banked up. Like, I'm not even sure they're done. Like, I'm not even sure what I was doing in all of them, but like one was me cleaning and packing my art room at our old place, and then another one was me unpacking in Chicago. That was a year ago. Like, so those clips have never seen the light of day. I might go through them, but the thing is like, the thing with vlogs is they're hours of footage, so like, I'd have to comb through all of that. But I might do that because I think vlogs would be a great way to bring the business here and kind of mesh the two things, like the art and the business, because then maybe more of you guys will like this and like things like stickers of this caliber kind of thing. You never know. So at this point in the artwork is kind of where I started like letting loose for sure and having more fun. I was starting to get a bit more like stylish with it, and I was like, well, it's not perfect. This is an experiment. I might as well experiment. So, under her chin with that kind of shading, I had the purple line to just separate the two skin tones, because there's only one skin tone. And then I put a little bit of the coral next to it as well, to kind of like, as almost like a blending color, but it's not blended. But that was fun, and I was adding some more color around like her eyes, and I did her little tiny eyebrows, which are so cute, my favorite. And I used the yellow, since the yellow is lighter than so many of the other colors. I kind of used it like a white highlight, because I think that's probably my other thing is there's no white in this pack, and I'm not sure I saw white at all in the colors that I saw, at least at my Michaels. My Michaels isn't very big, so take that with a grain of salt. But a white would definitely have gone well in here, but I digress. And so then when we got to this part, I was like, ooh, I want, like, we're going crazy. I want to use all the colors. So I was like, I'll just do the rainbow. And then I did think for a second, do I want to do each kind of stripe in the same like pattern? Like, do I want to do red to blue on all of them? And I was like, no. We've already started crazy. We're gonna finish crazy, and we're gonna alternate. And by this point in the video, this is ×4. So yeah, this was definitely slower going than Copic's, but it's fine. ×4 is like the ×2 of Copic, so it's fine. It was okay. I'm just glad it didn't look like too crazy, but occasionally my handle, I swear, looks like it's blurred because it's going so fast. But I do cut out, kind of from here on out, I start cutting out some more footage, just because like Some of it's kind of repetitive, like you don't need to see me do the last 2 stripes because you saw me do the first 4. It's the same thing, just on the other side. And then I do cut out some larger sections of this side of the hair for 2 reasons. One, you saw me do all of it on the other side. The second reason being that with the angle my camera's at, like, because I film on my phone, and like my phone is positioned above the desk, if you can imagine, picture it. The camera, like the way the phone was flipped, I'm going to try it flip the other way. The camera was on the right side of the phone, which being right-handed doesn't make a whole lot of sense because then as my hand if my hand is on the left side of the page, you can't see hardly anything because my hand's in the way. So I cut out big chunks of this as well, just because you just don't need to see my hand. That's not going to do you any good. That's not actually watching me draw, but whatever. But anyway, so I would love to hear from you. Like I said, subscribe if you have any ideas for other videos or artwork that you'd like to see me do. I do plan on using these markers again, but if you would like to see them used in a specific way, please let me know. I do think they're a little older by now, but I do think I have a pack of grabby ones that I got for Christmas, not this year, but the year prior. So if you want to see me compare, pull out 6 colors that are pretty similar to these, then I can do that, whatnot. But yeah, if you made it this far, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for watching, and subscribe. That's all I can say. If you like this art, feel free to stick around and see more of it. Hopefully you'll see me improve, and feel free to go back and watch some of my other videos because some of them are pretty good, if I do say so myself. You can get a little bit better grasp on who I am and whatnot, but yeah. And if you like seeing business content, you can follow the links below. They will take you more to my business stuff. So my Etsy, my Instagram is a mix. It has sticker sheets, but also something like this would get posted there as well. And same with my TikTok is kind of similar. There'll be a little art over there, but I do think that TikTok is definitely more business. Instagram and YouTube. Instagram's like a combo, and YouTube is mostly art. So, but hopefully I'll mix them all up. I did use a little bit of this Copic white to add a little highlights because I couldn't resist. But anyway, there she is. She is done. She ended up being so cute. I actually really love these colors. Maybe I'll draw her again. But thank you. Bye.